Hello and welcome to another AIC video. Sorry, I'm doing this all around the camera, so if I bump it, I apologize. But I was asked again today what the difference is between a budget 1911 and a top tier 1911. And previously I couldn't really answer that question because I only had these two 1911s that weren't my 22s. I don't really count those, even though they look in a lot of ways are a 1911. They're not exactly a 1911. They're just straight blowback, so they don't quite count, even though I really like them. But I couldn't answer that question because I didn't own one. This is my newest acquisition. It's a Dan Wesson Kodiak tricolor, and it wasn't cheap. So you can look up how much they are for yourself, but the answer is not expensive. So this is the first 1911 I bought. It's a Rock Island Rock Standard FS or full size, and it's just a bog standard 1911. It came with some rubber grips and some wood grips. I didn't like either of them, so I upgraded to these G10 grips. It has been a great gun. I have many thousands of rounds through it. It's in 45 ACP, and the only issue I had with it was the magazine. It came with one magazine from the factory, and it had a flaw back here where it actually cracked. I was having a lot of issues with it, and then I realized, oh, it's cracked, and they did replace it. So I actually have 3 magazines for it, but I only use the replacement. I think these are Kimbers, yeah. These are Kim Pros, and they've been fine. I haven't had any issues with them. The reason why I have these is because I just needed a mag, and I went to Bass Pro, and that's what they had for me. So, haven't been an issue at all since I replaced the magazine, and the magazines are a known issue with these. Once you upgrade to the non-factory magazine, you'll have a much better experience, I think, out of it than the factory one. This is the second 1911 I bought. It's in a Citadel Madagascar in 9mm. There it is in 9mm. And it's been a pretty good gun. I don't have as many rounds through this as I did through this because I kind of bought this beginning like right before pandemic started, and I couldn't even get ammo for it. So I just haven't done as much with it as I wanted to. But it's been a great gun, and the thing with these is they are both made by Arms Corps. So Rock Island is a Arms Corps brand, and so is Citadel. And so these guns, as similar as they are as 1911s, are also very similar because they come basically out of the same factory. But there is differences, and we'll go over those here in a second. And last but not least, again, this is my Dan Wesson Kodiak tricolor, and it's tricolor because of the gunmetal up here, the bronze pieces, and then the black frame. And this is just, I've honestly been drooling over one of these for nearly 2 years. When they launched back in 2019, I believe, is when they launched. That's when I first learned about them, at least. And then this is in 10mm. So these are all different calibers. And I have not shot this one yet. I literally got it a day and a half ago. And the place I picked it up from, so I had to order online and wait for it to get shipped. And I went to my FFL to pick it up, and they only had one box of 10mm. So I'm waiting on some more ammo to show up so I can actually go to the range and put more than just a handful of rounds through it. So those are what I have for actual 1911s. And like I said, I do have 2 22s, but again, being simple blowback, they don't quite fit in the same category. They're also fairly budget guns. As far as price, I paid $403 even for my my Rock Island. I paid $700, including shipping, on my Citadel, and I paid right at $2,200 for my Dan Wesson. So obviously a big price gap between these two, but if you think about it, it's also a fairly big price gap between these two. It's almost double the price and then almost triple the price from here to here. So like I said, just going through some basics here. The biggest difference between the three is the build quality. Example. That slide to frame fit, it's fine. Like, there's a little bit of wiggle. I definitely have more wiggle in some of my polymer frame guns. Just a hint. And then nothing. There is no wiggle, no looseness. It is a perfect frame to fit, and that's because this is a semi-custom gun. It's made out of all stainless steel and tool steel for the internals, and hand fitted together, where these have a lot of metal injected molded parts and are not hand fitted. They're mass produced, and so they're just overall build quality, or I shouldn't say build quality because they're fine, like there's nothing quote unquote wrong with them, but the tolerances are much greater. And so, you know, this slide can fit on any other guns that came out of the factory, where this slide is fitted to this frame. So if I got another Kimber, this slide may not fit and work on it, where if I got any Rock Island, I can slap this sucker on there. In fact, I've even swapped between these two guns without issue. The other difference is quality of the finish. So this is Parkerized, which is kind of an inexpensive finish, and I have some from factory, if you'll focus. Oh, come on, camera. There we go. There's some little dings here and there all over it. That's the way it was when I got it, and it just isn't perfect. You know, these lines aren't perfectly even, things like that. So it's not perfect. Where the finish on this is better, absolutely better. It is not Parkerized. It actually has a Cerakote on there. The top is laser etched to look kind of like Damascus. But again, it's not perfect. You can find flaws, you know, like in the grip panels and the wood. There's some minor flaws in that as well. It doesn't have some of the checkering like on the front strap here. There's no Picatinny rail on the front for an accessory. It shares exactly the same controls, like the safeties are the same between the less expensive gun, the hammer, the trigger. The internals are all the same between the less expensive and the more expensive gun here. And it really is just the fit and finish step up from the Rock Island for the Citadel, where with the Dan Wesson, it's bespoke to this gun, right? So these pieces are bespoke to the gun. There's just more features. You have the rail, you have more checkering. Overall, it's just a better finish, right? There's absolutely no flaw in the coating. There's no flaw in any of the function of it. It's just, you just picking up. It's hard to communicate through the video, but it's just better. You know, you can just feel. You just feel when you pick up the gun, you're like, ooh, yeah. It's kind of like if you have a really, probably a bad analogy, if you have a really nice car, and you close the door on a nice car, and it just has that right thunk, where on a less expensive car, it just kind of goes clunk. You know, just that difference in experience. Now they can artificially do that with cars, and a lot of even lower end cars, if cars even really are low end much anymore, they have that nicer thunk instead of the clunk to it. But with guns, it's a lot harder to fake that on, just because they are such a mechanical device. You also feel it just in the slide. It's a little sticky. That's a little bit better. It's just tighter, you know, it's just a tighter feeling there. Yeah, so definitely a step up. And again, I'm not unhappy with this gun, especially at its price point. I'm not unhappy with this one, especially at its price point. I'm not unhappy with this one, especially at its price point. There's just obviously a difference. If I could only have one, it'd be this one for a few reasons. One being mainly that it's 9mm. During the pandemic, I could not find at certain points 45 ACP for any price. Didn't matter. But I could, if I was willing to just pay crazy money for it, could still buy 9mm. And now that we're kind of coming out of it and prices have started to drop, it's dropped on 9mm. It has not dropped on 45, and it has not dropped on 10mm. This stuff is pricey. It is not cheap. So I don't know how much of this I'm going to keep on hand, but 9mm I was always able to get. You can see I have some Tula in it right now. Fires fine out of this gun, no issues with it whatsoever. So yeah, just the 9mm was better, obviously a little bit better fit and finish. It's a little fancier looking. You know, I love wood grips on a 1911. This used to have wood grips, but they broke, unfortunately. But I like the wood grips. I like the feel of the grips a little bit better over the G10. I like the slightly Damascus look on it. But so if I were to pick, I would pick this one. This one truly is a luxury. I would not necessarily pick this for an everyday carry necessarily. I think this is the better gun for that because of the caliber. I've fed hollow points and stuff through this, no issues at all with different types of ammo, especially defense ammo. 10mm is just hard to get like the 45. It was out of stock for most of last year, and it was just, when you could get it, was insane prices. So but now that I have it, you know, if you reload or whatever, it might not be as big a deal for you, since you can have a lot of that on hand for yourself. So anyways, kind of a quick video. Not sure if I answered any questions, but you know, this just want to show the difference a little bit between them. Again, I don't think you go wrong with any of these. If you're looking to buy a 1911, any one of these is an excellent gun. The only real thing I would have is if it's your only gun or if it's an everyday carry, I would consider buying it in 9mm, simply for the fact of ammo price and availability. So, but I'm glad I have it in 3 different calibers so I can shoot all of them and experience all of them. So anyways, if you have any thoughts, comments, or questions, leave those down in the comment section down below. Do my best to answer. Thank you for watching. Hope you have an amazing day.